Well, good morning again. A fresh week before us. Let's look at some scriptures today. Last week we talked about Amos and how God had called him from his sheep herds and the sycamore figs that he was tending. He called them from that job to prophesy to the nation of Israel. And by every indication, he should have been scared to death, and maybe he was. He wasn't someone who was a priest or a preacher, or he took care of sheep. He took care of sycamore figs, and yet God says, "I want you to go prophesy to Israel." I was thinking about Amos and perhaps his thoughts and his fear to speak to a king, to speak to a nation about their idolatry, not just to preach a sermon or to prophesy. He had to prophesy a tough message. He had to tell people they were sinning and that they were wrong and that they needed to turn, or some bad things were going to happen. Those weren't easy words to say, so I imagine there was an element of fear in Amos's life. I don't have the statistics or the data, but I would have to say over the 40 plus years of ministry that I've been involved with and talking with people about ministry opportunities, I'd have to say that probably the number one thing that keeps people from doing what the Lord would have them to do would just be fear. Their fear of being inadequate, not properly trained. I didn't go to Bible college. I don't know the Bible all that well. I'm not a good reader. I don't know. The fear of failure. What if I fail? What if I disappoint God? What if Jesus wants me to do something and I do it and it fails? What about rejection? Just the fear they won't listen to what I have to say, or they don't want to hear it, and they reject me or laugh at me. The persecution that may come along with that. I could lose my job. I could alienate coworkers. I could have family mad at me, neighbors that won't talk to me. No, it's just best not to rock the boat. And fear, the enemy uses it as that tool to keep us from hearing what Jesus would say and what we are to do with that which we hear. I just better hold off. Let the professionals do that. Amos could have very used that excuse. Let someone else. Moses did when God told him he was going to go save Egypt and deliver Egypt, the message that would bring the deliverance to them. Send somebody else. I'm not qualified. I stutter. I'm afraid to do that. Deuteronomy chapter 20 and chapter 31 tells of the nation of Israel getting ready to go into the promised land. If you'd remember a little history lesson, they had left Egypt, delivered the plagues, the crossing of the Red Sea on Mount Sinai, and then they went up to the promised land. Moses sent out the 12 spies. They come back, and it is a land flowing with milk and honey, but we can't go in. And in spite Joshua and Caleb's encouragement, we can go in. Moses saying we need to go in. They refused, and because of that, they were left wandering in the desert for 40 years. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 20 and chapter 31, those chapters tell us about Israel's getting ready to go into the promised land, and there is a phrase that is continually used in Deuteronomy chapter 20, Deuteronomy chapter 31, and Joshua chapter 1. Over and over and over again, these two words: be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. Strong and courageous. Over and over and over again. God tells Moses to tell Joshua. God tells Joshua. The children of Israel tell Joshua. Joshua tells the children, be strong, be courageous. They are about to enter into this land that they had refused to enter into 40 years ago. Moses is about to die, and Joshua is going to be the one to take over. Can you imagine filling Moses' shoes? But over and over again, Moses says to Joshua, be strong and be courageous. The Lord says to Joshua, be strong and be courageous. I will be with you. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Even the people who are accepting Joshua as their leader say to him, be strong and be courageous. We'll follow you. And Joshua says, okay, be strong and be courageous. We're about to enter into the promised land and take the city of Joshua. So over and over again, those two words, strength and courageous, be strong, be courageous, is there. And those words are for us today. The Lord would say that to us, no matter what we have in front of us, whether it's a difficult thing at work, whether it's a relationship, whether it's family difficulties, whether it is sharing the gospel with somebody, whatever that may be. We don't have to feel like we are inadequate, or we don't have to be afraid of failure. We don't have to be afraid of rejection. If those things happen, they happen. The Lord will help us, and we'll learn and become stronger in the midst of it. And we certainly do not need to worry about persecution. Yes, it may come, but remember what God said to Joshua, be strong, be courageous. I will never leave you nor forsake you. So in the midst of our persecution, even if we fall flat on our face, the Lord is there with us, and he will pick us up and make us stronger and form us into that person he wants us to be, who can lead, who can share, who can touch someone else's life. So the words that God told Moses to tell Joshua are words that we need to hear today. In this day, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world, a lot of stuff that would tear us apart, a lot of stuff that would attempt to destroy our faith. But the words that were said all those years ago, be strong, be courageous, for the Lord your God is with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Therefore, be strong and be courageous, are words that I hope that ring in your ears throughout this week as you come up against difficulties, as opportunities arise and yet you're hesitant. Hear those words that the Spirit would speak to your heart. Be strong, be courageous, for the Lord your God is with you. Have a great week. God bless you.